Oregon OSHA is proposing a temporary rule that would combat the spread of COVID-19 in all workplaces by requiring employers to implement risk-reducing measures. Now, joining us now to discuss what that new rule setup would be is Aaron Corvin with OSHA. Thanks very much for being with us.
Good to be with you.
So it sounds like we're supposed to be wearing masks in private and public spaces now, workplaces and others. What changes are you proposing?
So these changes, from our perspective, bring a lot more clarity, stability, and predictability to what the expectations are. And again, I emphasize it is a proposal. It's in draft form, and we will be taking additional input on it. But we have included in this draft proposal social distancing requirements. Certainly, there are facial covering requirements, but there are also the potential, for example, for an impermeable barrier to be put in place if that fits a particular situation in the workplace. So this is really a set of, this proposal is a set of requirements to provide both employers and workers greater clarity, stability, and predictability when we're talking about addressing an infectious disease.
So for the average person walking into a business, would they see any changes or be required to wear masks in places that they haven't been now?
They certainly would be accustomed to the need to wear a face covering, just given the guidance that's come out of the Oregon Health Authority. That context doesn't necessarily change. We think, though, it becomes clearer and more stable because obviously the requirements have shifted some and then they have changed. And I think a lot of folks have been doing a lot of hard work to come up to speed with that. And what we're looking at is dealing with an emergency with a type of rulemaking that, again, just makes it clearer for employers. This is really the Oregon OSHA context. So we're looking at restrictions and requirements that we would expect employers to put into place going forward. And so that's kind of what we're looking at here, is just trying to provide some greater predictability, some clarity in that workplace health and safety context.
You said this is just a proposal. Will you be talking to other employers who may have other ideas about what should be done going forward? And did this come as a result of confusion among those employers about what they should be doing?
Absolutely, we will be taking additional input from stakeholders, and that absolutely includes businesses. And it really does need to be emphasized that the draft proposal as it stands also received extensive stakeholder review and discussion, including businesses. So those were virtual discussions that we had, virtual forums, to make sure that we're on the right track here, that we're getting a lot of stakeholder input, and going forward for that matter, as this draft proposal circulates, we expect to hold additional virtual forums, and we welcome additional comment. I think from our perspective, in terms of, again, why we're pursuing this, we really want to we're in the middle of an emergency, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and a lot of folks have had to make great adjustments. This has been incredibly challenging, across the board. And so what we're attempting to do with this is to really provide a set of expectations, if you will, in the workplace context that are going to provide a lot of clarity. It's going to be clearer. There'll be some predictability here for employers and employees so that they know what to do in order to address situations like this.
Be sure to stay with Newswatch 12. Coming up on Newswatch 12 at 6, hear the rest of our conversation with Oregon OSHA.